Good morning from Great Yarmouth. Mark and I are at Great Yarmouth this week, and guess what? We're doing another Victron electrical system. I'm tired. We drove from the South Central meet last night, and we got to Great Yarmouth at 1 AM. Was it 1 AM?
Oh, yeah.
What we got going on in this install, Mark?
We've got three 100 amp hour customer batteries.
They got them from China, didn't they?
Yeah, I think he said AliExpress, didn't he?
AliExpress, was it?
We'll let you know how they are later.
Yeah, we'll test them out later.
Test them out. 3 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt multi, or 3 VA multi, distributor, MPPT 130, and his Orion there.
And a smart shunt.
Smart shunt as well, yeah.
And we've got a consumer unit mains hookup to do. We've got a diesel heater to fit, a bobble water heating system to fit. Oh, we've got two
175.
No.
175 or something.
No, they're not.
They're 215s.
They're 215s.
Right.
Two 215 watt panels for the roof, 430 watts.
Nice.
With 300 amps. That's about a good mix.
It is.
So let's stop talking and let's do some work. Okay, we have chosen the layout. We've fitted everything in its position, almost everything. So this is where the batteries are going against the wheel arch box. I'm going to put some battens around there and across there to hold them all down. I'll suggest a strap as well from the customer. We've got the multi-plus fitted here. It's very secure. There's a gap between the board and the multi-plus itself, but they don't actually vent out the sides, they vent out at the top and the bottom. We've got some Victron blue ducting, conduit, what do you call it? Conduit. So all the cables can go into the conduit and along where they need to go, so it'll be nice and neat. We're going to have the main fuse, the main isolator and the consumer unit all down here, and I'm guessing that on this side of the fuse wheel arch box we'll have the 12 volt fuse box. But now we're going to start doing some wiring. Good morning. Alright, just woken up to a lovely sunny day in Great Yarmouth. Stayed on a campsite last night. It's nice to have a relaxing evening on a campsite. We had to leave the job pretty early yesterday because we had to go to Wrexham and get a load of parts for this job. So then we went to a campsite because we wanted to have a relaxing evening. Didn't want to be driving around trying to find some park ups last night. Normally when we go away, I've chosen park ups before we even get to the area. I've only really found one that I like so far around that I can stay for the night for free. And also, I don't have like decent showers in my van, so I'm not going to say no now and then to a campsite. Going to have a nice shower, fill up with some water, empty rubbish, etc. So let's go and see what day 2 holds. Today we're going to be doing battery bracing. I love the wiring bit of it. I love choosing the layout and getting all fixed onto a wall, and then I like it when we start making cables and bolting things on. Cool, shiny. This is where we're up to, guys. Yeah, we've used some blue trunking on this job just so, because we weren't able to hide the cables through the walls, so it's a bit of blue trunking makes it look nice and neat. Still got to bring some solar cables in for the MPPT, and we've got a little breaker here for the solar, which is what we always use now, these DC breakers. Instead of, what do we normally use? A fuse,
Yeah,
an isolator. Yeah, so obviously these breakers are, you know, switch.
Proper DC, they're 50 amp DC breakers.
We're going to have a fuse box on the end of this wheel arch boxing, which is what this isolator here is for. We're going to have, the customer decided last minute to have a servo, so we fitted that in there. What else have we done, Mark? That's it, isn't it?
Done stuff.
Done stuff. Oh, Mark's got this lovely
nice
metal.
piece of
Talk about that. That's metal, good metal.
Yeah, this is a cracking little bit. Previously we've been using caravan ones, and they're just, well, a bit rubbish really, because we've got our mains hook up
That's
down here. So the mains hook up comes in down there, and then to bring that into, we'll open up this, as you can just see, and on that far left hand corner here we've got a 40 amp, and the reason that's 40 amp because this is actually capable of 32 amp switching. So we bring the main one into this one, so our main income comes into the B40 here, and it goes out to the AC in the multi, and it comes out of AC1 into the multi, into our RCD, then out into our two RCDs there. But it's a lovely solid metal box, which I really like.
You want to tell them what we just discovered about the trickle charging?
Oh yeah, so I was always under the impression that the multiplusters, when they trickle charge, work only when the unit is plugged into shore power, and there's been some conjecture whether or not it works when the inverter is on only. But as we've just discovered today, that the trickle charge is only 1 amp, works all the time. So if you have the little trickle charge connected to the starter battery, no matter what state the inverter is in, whether it's on, off or whatever, it is always charging those batteries at 1 amp. So yeah, so we were going to look at probably putting the switch in there for the customer, just in case you know, that becomes a long time. Over the winter, 1 amp, even with 300 amp hours of lithium, is a lot.
So the multiplus constantly takes power from your leisure batteries and trickle charges your starter battery at 1 amp.
Yeah.
So the trickle charge cable from this, it's a spade terminal, spade connection inside here, but it's only like a 1mm cable, is that right?
I think that's yeah, it's a 1. It's probably even 0.75, but it's only a 1 amp connection.
Yeah. So that thin cable, we've actually got it going to the in on the Orion. So this in on the Orion goes to the starter battery anyway. So the trickle charge from this is going to the in of the DC charger, which goes back through that 16mm cable back to the starter battery. We've also got the aux on the shunt on that same line as well, because the aux on that shunt now tells the shunt on the app the starter battery voltage. So that also goes into here, back down the 16mm to the starter battery.
So running all those cables.
Well, you don't have to run another cable because that 16mm cable is already going that way.
Yep. And it's reading the voltage directly from the starter battery.
Yeah.
Any job this?
No, I'm going to let you struggle.
I can't. There you go. Right, there you go.
Oh no! So we're doing a bit of woodwork. Done some insulation, some vapor barrier, cutting some wood out. We're boxing this wheel arch in now because we're going to be fitting a bobble water tank on there. And Mark's just cut his finger.
Yep, comment on our woodwork and they will be deleted.
Oh yeah. We're not carpenters.
No.
We are done for as much as we can anyway, aren't we?
I think so, yep.
You've pretty much seen over on this side all the electrics. Haven't really changed much. Got a loose wire here and down here, which is going to be for a 12-volt fuse box, which is there. Still got to put the cover on for the solar breaker there. But everything's working. You tested all the hookup and stuff, didn't you, Mark?
Yeah, tested the hookup, tested it on charging, so it's all good.
Over this side, this is what we've been doing today. Well, yesterday we built the wheel latch boxing, did some insulation, vapor barrier boxing. Had to build the boxing a little bit wider to house the 12-volt water heater. And this is as far as we can get to without the tank. But the diesel heater is in place, so the idea is that diesel heater will blow hot air. Either you can select if it goes into the van through this one or into the water heater here. So in the winter this diesel heater is on and it's circulating water through this little pump here, circulates water through here. So the hot air goes through that circulating water, warms the water up and keeps it warm in that sort of loop. So you can either choose 100% into the van, 100% into the water heater, or 50-50. So this warms up water 12 volt, it's got a 12 volt heating element in there. And the idea is that once your leisure batteries get full, then the excess power from the solar or from the DC charging turns this on and starts warming up water. So that warms up water in the summer, this warms water in the winter. You can click on this card up top here and go and see my install. I installed it into my van as well. This is where the diesel tank is going for the diesel heater. It's not strapped in yet, but yeah, not finished yet. The customer needs to build a bed now, get a water tank before we can sort of go any further with this. But let's hope the customer's happy, because we are. A screen there to be mounted somewhere, which is why that loose cable is there. Job, Mark.
Job.